Welcome and thank you for joining Happy Hour Holidaze with your host, Manny Fabre. And we got Sean Fabre as my co-host, your go-to podcast for business, entrepreneurship, and life stories. Today in studio, we got a hot topic today. We got Meredith from 94.1 Orlando and the Freak Show. Also was on MJ Morning Show out 93.3. Meredith,
hey,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm not as cool as you with sunglasses on, but that's okay. Should I go get mine?
No, I only do it because, the light bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You're not stoned at all.
I have cataracts, I swear.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Why, do you got some weed?
No, I do not. Not on me.
Well, I mean, boom.
Oh,
Delta
hey.
9 chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, the chocolate, that's a good way to get around it, especially if you're inside the building.
No, that honestly, we had somebody come in and they were.
You can't say his name.
No,
remember?
but they were doing.
Well, he didn't want us to mention it.
They were
Yeah.
doing, Christians for cannabis.
Oh, well, you might as well just mention
That's a
his name
thing.
now. Yeah, it is. It
Damn,
is.
that's awesome. I
Yeah.
would join that.
I know. I was like saying, like, man, this is pretty freaking cool, and I get to smoke weed and still be a Christian. Unbelievable.
I think Jesus smoked weed, didn't he?
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, you ever heard of the burning bush?
Of course, that was that burning bush.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Moses
All right.
got high for a reason.
He was like, "Did you guys see me turn that snake or that stick into a snake? You guys are just high. Don't worry about it."
That's how they came up with the 10 Commandments.
It probably was. He was probably up there stoned. They were like,
Right?
"No, he's up there for 7 days."
Yeah.
Let's add affairs and murder on Harrisville.
So going back to you, Meredith,
Yeah.
you've been on you're a radio personality here
Yes.
locally in Tampa. A lot of people know you. How did you get your start, or just give us a little background on Meredith, on how you became popular.
How'd you get on 94.1?
Yeah. Or 93.3 it was.
Yeah.
first.
Oh, yeah.
So I started off in radio in college, basically. I went to the University of North Florida up in Jacksonville, and I did live in Duval. So a lot of people are just like, she didn't live in Duval. I know. No. I definitely did elementary school, all that up in Jacksonville. And then I moved to St. Augustine, but ultimately went to college at UNF. So I've been like a radio nerd for such a long time. I've traveled this country. I've lived in 38 different states. I've lived in Hawaii for like almost a year. So really traveling so much, besides listening to my CD player to age myself, I would always be listening to the radio. So I just fell in love with the art form of it, and talk radio especially. So when I went into college, I would still be listening to the same radio stations I was listening to when I was a little girl, in Jacksonville and St. Augustine, traveling back and forth. And I turned on the radio station one day and I heard that they were taking internships and applications. And I was in my car at the red light and I sent an email over to the program director at 97.9 KISS FM up there. And he shot me back an email immediately. A week later, I went in for an interview, and they hired me on the spot to be an intern. I mean, I guess.
It's unpaid, right?
Yeah. Oh, my God. So unpaid. I didn't make anything. And as a matter of fact, I refused to leave. So I worked there for free for about a year and a half before there was a part-time position that was actually open. And I mean, like, I was doing any job, every job, like running the board. Like, you have a board here, like a big board for rock stations, country stations, all that. I would dress up as a chicken on the side of the road as a mascot.
This sounds like Third Leg Greg kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You got to get your start somewhere. And I was just it's just hours. So I was getting paid hourly. And I was like, well, I don't care. No one's going to know who's in the chicken suit except for my girlfriends and my roommates who were in a sorority. And so they would intentionally drive by in their trucks and SUVs and stuff like that and honk at me and yell at my name, Meredith, as I'm dressed up as, Rooster Country 107.3. I was just like, oh my God, kill me. But so
was this like out of high school or?
So in college. So it was like my
college.
first year in college when I lived at the dorms. And the radio station up in Jacksonville was actually located directly behind the college. So it was, I know.
Convenient?
So stupidly convenient. So I'd go to classes and then I'd go work at the radio station for free, like I said, for a year and a half. And then I would go be a server at Outback for a really long time. And that's the only way I could pay my bills because internships, I mean, you're not getting paid anything. And then part-time, it was just hourly wages. So
and Jacksonville's came a long way. I mean, you got to think
You
about.
were just up there over the weekend.
Yeah, I was just up there. We used to go there a lot for our broker meetings when we were doing our business, and I was like, man, this place has so much potential. It still looks like it's
spread out.
It is spread out, and it still looks like it's stuck in the 70s or 80s.
It really is. I couldn't wait to leave Jacksonville. I was so excited to get the hell out of there.
Vero Beach is nice, though. I know it's outside
Vero
of
Beach is
Jacksonville.
Vero Beach. Like, that is like, people call it that for a reason. It's not really a part of Jacksonville necessarily. I mean, it is, but it's like Ponte Vedra or something.
But Ponte Vedra, yes.
Oh, Ponte Vedra, yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes,
so it's a part of Jacksonville on the beach there, but everybody calls it that for a reason because they separate it, But yeah, so I worked for a year and a half, and I finally got a part-time job there. But then I was filling in at all these different radio stations. Like I said, board opping. I would even board op NASCAR races on the weekend. So I don't know if you guys are into NASCAR at all.
I'm into anything with sports, I'll watch it.
Okay. All right. So
I'm more of a Formula One guy. But,
Okay. Very. I mean, not similar, but the races are so extremely long. And if there's a yellow flag or a red flag or anything like that, so I'm sitting there when I should be getting drunk on the weekends with my girlfriends, and I'm just waiting for the green flag and for the crashes to go away and stuff. So I suffered through a lot to get to where I feel like I am today. But yeah, eventually I got a full-time position offered, and I was actually the board op for the MJ Morning Show up in Jacksonville. And that's how they became familiar with me, and I became familiar with MJ. So board opping is when, I don't know if you guys know.
So you run,
you run the local commercials. So at that time, MJ was syndicated, I feel like in 12 different markets.
So they're stationed out of Tampa, though, and they were being syndicated in Jacksonville.
Yeah, so Jacksonville, essentially, that radio station would cut MJ a check to make sure that their morning show would produce ratings and stuff like that. And then he would give me a cue, like, this is the MJ Morning Show. And I'd have to listen for my cue and run the board and press the buttons to hit local commercials. And then we would come back, basically, and then you would hear MJ live again, doing his show. I was waking up super early, going to college, working super late, being a server. And I still work crazy hours like that to this day. But I don't know, sometimes I would just get bored just listening, and I would want to be a part of something. Yeah. And I didn't feel like there was a lot of female representation on the show. It was just all guys. And if there was a female that was talking, like it was
all sex, right? It was all like, oh, look at you in a bikini or some shit like that.
Oh, for sure. And if it was a woman that was in the studio, it was always just an intern. So I started calling in. I started
as you're board opping.
I would be board opping, and I would be listening, and I would just be calling in. Yeah, and they'd be like, "This is our board op Meredith from Jacksonville. Like, what do you have to say about this?" And that's how I got on the MJ Morning Show, is because I started to make myself somewhat known as a character on the show. So when the position was open, Froggy and a couple people let them know that I was interested, and MJ called me like immediately once a position was open, and he offered it to me. And I was like, hell yeah. And I had just graduated college. So 2 months after I graduated college, I was still board opping and doing the same dumb stuff and calling in. And then all of a sudden I got a full-time position, the first female on the MJ Morning Show to be full-time. And so I packed up my shit.
From Jacksonville.
I couldn't wait to leave Jacksonville. I was so over that place. Because, again, I've been to so many different areas of the country. And it's really, I'm not trying to, take a shot at Jacksonville. I was just over living there. I wanted to go experience a new place because I had traveled so much. I don't know if that makes sense. But
38 different states, I think it makes sense.
That's
a lot of states.
And I knew nobody in Tampa. I had never even been to Tampa before. So I packed up my stuff, and I moved down. And I remember driving down Dale Mabry years ago. This is before it's been renovated. I was like, where the fuck am I right now? I was and there's, in comparison to Jacksonville, and you guys know this because you're in real estate, there's no zoning in Tampa. In Jacksonville, there's a place for strip clubs. There's a place for rehab facilities and parks and different communities and areas. In Tampa, there's nothing like that. And I've been saying this for forever. It's so weird looking at a mansion next to a rehab facility, next to a strip club, next to a Publix, and it was just very eye-opening for me. Okay. And so I lived out of a hotel for a little bit, and I found an apartment. And so that's basically how I came to Tampa.
So then MJ Morning Show, you went there, and you were living out of a hotel. Was it something that was temporary? Was it a full-time contract? Did they say, hey, listen, you are going to be full-time, 100%? Contracts usually, like, for radio, like 1 to 2 years or something like that?
So it depends. I'm not quite sure. I feel like MJ did 3 to 5 year contracts at that time. And I was given 3-year contracts. So essentially you go along with the host of the show somewhat around his contract because it just makes sense. So yeah, I signed a 3-year contract with the MJ Morning Show full time. And I guess essentially the terminology or whatever it is, the title would be like the audio person on the show. So whenever MJ was to this day is still very big into like sound effects. You hear Homer Simpson go "doh," or whatever, like picking up a can or something like that. I would be the one making radio theater kind of happen.
Wait, were you also an on-air personality though?
Yes, I was. So, I mean, and it was honestly, again, this is my opinion, it was needed because it was so heavy with the male opinions on the show. And the females were great too because there was a lot of interns, but there wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't, you needed like a main female with them. So balancing everything out.
And when you got on there, Meredith, how did you approach to build a connection with the audience through the airwaves?
So through, I would say, different topics. It is different though when I worked at FLZ in comparison to Wild now. So when I worked with MJ and Fester and Froggy and a bunch of other people, I could essentially be myself and be silly, but they also wanted me to play kind of like the dumb blonde role at the same time, like the goofy,
so you
giggly.
were instructed to do that?
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Oh shit!
So it was also, on one hand, it was fun and freeing, and that's how I got my start. But also, it was like, I don't know, I couldn't just naturally be who I was at the end of the day because, I'd be walking out in Tampa. I could be at a grocery store or something like that, and I was called like the Ditz on the show, and like all these different nicknames, which never bothered me at all. But then people start to think that I am like I didn't go to college. There's like lack of respect, and especially if you're blonde, you got big boobs anyway. Now you're acting like complete dumbass on air. Like who's gonna like really respect you at the end of the day? So that was a little exhausting sometimes. But I look back on working on the MJ Morning Show, and I appreciate everything that everybody did for me and what MJ giving me that platform, and honestly learning a great work ethic also. Working at FLZ. So it was great, but also I couldn't naturally kind of like be myself at the same time. So it was a struggle.
So how did you overcome that radio personality to be able to break free from there and actually be yourself?
Because it was almost like you were acting on air then.
Yeah, a little bit. Prompted to say certain things, which is common sometimes. Like, give me a similar response to this so we can get into a topic. That's very common. But, I feel like that's almost like when you go watch stand-up or something, you need prompts to kind of get to the next level. Or like doing a podcast or radio show, you need to get to a certain topic. It's very similar to that. So, it was just, I don't know. At the end of the day, I just didn't really like being a complete idiot on air.
Because that's not who you are. That's not who you are.
I have my idiot moments, just like everybody else.
We do, yeah.
But that's not me 24/7.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm a very sweet, kind, loving human being, but also I can be silly and funny. But I'm also very hardworking, and nobody gets to see that when you just have to play like the ditz all the time. I'll never forget. So my very first boyfriend, and I'm going somewhere with this. There's a point to this. My very first boyfriend, I found out that he had tragically passed away in a car accident, and I found out like 30 minutes before I had to go live on the MJ Morning Show. This was like 2 years into the MJ Morning Show, and I was like crushed. But I kind of blow through everything. I get through work, and then I'll deal with my emotions later kind of person. And so I got through the show. It was really hard, but then I needed to go to the funeral like a week and a half later.
Is that up in Jacksonville?
Up in Jacksonville, where it was still syndicated. And I remember I was walking into the funeral, and I remember my theology teacher that I went to high school with walking up to me like right as I'm walking in, and he goes, hey, you're the Dits. How you doing? And I was just, my soul was crushed. I'm like, first of all, you're a theology teacher.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, that's a religion teacher. And I'm like, and you taught, and so I was just, you know what I mean? Like,
They hate us because they ain't us.
right. Yeah, exactly. Not anus, but anus. It was just like a little bit of a blow to all my hard work and effort. And also I'm here for like, you know, my first love's funeral. And so that's kind of when it really hit me. Like, I don't think anybody respects what the fuck I do for a living. And that's okay. I don't need everybody's respect.
I think that might have been the pivotal moment when you decided, hey, I no longer want to be on this morning show.
It was a direction. It was a wake up moment to know like I don't want to do this forever or play this role forever. Yeah. So basically, it was a wake up call, and it's still to this day it kind of hurts to think that happened to me. But it's a little thing to hear about. But those little things can kind of hurt.
Oh yeah.
So just being like the Dits on the show, after a while, I was kind of just over it. But I'll never forget when I found out the morning show ended because we were
They're not around anymore?
So good question. So I was on the MJ morning show like for about 6 years, I would say. It could be like 5
So
and a
you
half.
re-signed contract. Yeah.
So I was on their show like at the very end of the MJ morning show on FLZ. So they had contractual issues. I honestly don't know the whole story. I think it was like a money issue and whatever. They wanted to switch up talent or something like that. Anyway, so we were all asked, Froggy, Fester, me, MJ, everybody that was on the show full time, to go into the GM's office. And we all go in there, we sit down at a big table just like this. And that's when they told us this is the end of the MJ morning show. And we were literally all basically fired. They gave us 3 weeks to figure some shit out. And that's when they brought in this other morning show that was going to take over on FLZ. It was actually the afternoon person. It was the Kane show. And so we did Gasparilla. So for 3 weeks, we were all working in the same building with the people that were going to take over our job at the same time. So that was really, really, really weird. And we did Gasparilla with the new morning show that was going to take over the show in the parade, supposed to have fun. And we're all on the float anyway, it was very awkward and weird.
Yeah, because you're like 3 weeks from now, we're done.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. And by the way, I mean, I had some savings because my mom like instilled that in my head, like, you never know what's going to happen, especially in your industry. Minimally, you need to have 3 months of like rent, car payment, like saved.
Damn, your mom is smart.
She is, especially when it comes to finances. And so I always listen to her. I'm like, to this day, I'm pretty frugal about stuff. But so when I was given 3 weeks, I went to my bosses. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll help you find another job. This is iHeart. Of course, at that time it was Clear Channel. We have a lot of no. There was nothing. There's like my phone wasn't ringing like off the hook and all that stuff. I had to really go out there and try to find a different job. So at the end
Hold that thought, though.
Yes.
When we get back, we will get the remainder of this story. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be right back. Actually, let's start it right now.
Okay.
Have you heard of Dave and Chuck the Freak?
I have, as a matter of fact. I've listened to their show a bunch
They're
for
fucking
years
hilarious,
now. They are
man.
hilarious. And so they are hilarious.
Penis, balls.
Right, dick. Like at the end, it's like penis. And it's just so silly and stupid. But one of the great things about their show, it goes on till 10:30. So after our morning show, AM, our morning show is done at 10. So and I get a little bit of a break, so I can go in my car and listen to them. And I have before, and that's awesome. But also, I do middays on air on their station afterwards.
Really?
So their morning show ends, and boom, I go on air on the rock station on 98.7 The Shark.
Oh,
yeah, right afterwards up until 3 p.m. So not only are they hilarious, and they don't take themselves too seriously, and they don't get stuck on like the news or politics or anything like that. Because who the fuck wants to hear more about that on a daily basis? I'm overloaded with all that stuff. I don't even want to hear my family talk about that stuff. Yeah. Nevertheless, some radio guys that I want to make me laugh. Yeah. But then it's nice because I get to have my own show at the end of the day after them.
And it's, watch out, old people are driving.
Yes.
Bro, they're so hilarious. My wife turned me on to them like maybe 6 months ago.
Yes.
Every day I drive into the office, I put on their podcast. Yeah, even though I know they're on from like 6 to 10:30, but I always listen to the one beforehand.
Sure.
Because I don't want to listen to the one that's currently on air because I want to listen to it
The next day.
The next day,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, these people are fucking nuts.
They
man.
really are, and the impressions are really, really funny
Yeah.
and good.
Like
and
the
he'll just do it
old one?
immediately. Yeah, or he'll like be a Russian accent.
That's my favorite one. That's
Tested vodka. Like it's so funny. I love it.
But you were before we cut out. What were we talking about? You said.
I think it was the MJ morning show. Oh, ending.
Ending. Yes,
Ending.
yes.
And so, I had 3 weeks to basically, figure out my life, and there was nothing available. And so I had no job. They gave me my severance package. The HR woman was there. I signed paperwork just like the rest of them. And like I was out of a job. I was out of my ass. And also I was going to be out of money in like 3 months. Like broke. So I didn't know what to do. So I started taking interviews like all over the country. I had an offer to have my own morning show in like Oklahoma. I didn't want to do that. No shot at Oklahoma.
Well, you were open to leaving Tampa.
I was,
yeah.
I had a job offer in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That would have been
yeah,
a good
no,
play.
and my family actually lives in Charlotte.
Oh my god!
Right, so I was like, okay, well, this is good. I'll have my family around, but also sometimes I can't be myself.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Especially with what I say and what I do. Half the time we're talking about sex and positions and like crazy stuff, and like I would definitely embarrass my dad a lot. My mom's pretty cool. My dad would be like, oh my God, I can't believe she's talking about this. But with that job, the two guys, they were honest with me. Open and honest. They were like, by the way, we took most of the money out of the budget. So this job is only going to pay this amount. And I'm like, yo, you guys are dicks. And it's like, I can barely survive off of that salary in comparison to what I was, making at the MJ morning show. And so, that that didn't work out. Yeah. And so my boyfriend at the time, were just dating maybe 3 months. Okay. I had just lost my job and I was just dating my.
Were you like 23, 24 at the time? Or?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Maybe like 26. 26. And so I had like a month left to kind of do interviews and stuff, or I was going to be living out of my car. And I remember him coming to my house.
Your boyfriend would let you live out of your car?
No, but it was still a new relationship. Yeah. And I'm very much like, I don't ask for help.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to.
I never ask for help.
Especially that early on. They're like, fuck, what did I get myself into?
I can take care of myself. If I have to, I'll go serve or not strip. But I
That's the next day. I was like, is that an option?
I mean, the strip club's right next to the mansion, right next to the pharmacy store.
Meredith from the MJ Morning Show. I mean, like, maybe there'd be a line out for that. But I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get naked, but I didn't want to beg for money. I'm not like that. Again, I've never asked anybody for money unless it was like my dad or somebody like in college, like, Dad, I need $100 so I can go eat. So basically my then boyfriend, he was like, you need to move in with me. I go, absolutely not.
Hell no.
I'm an independent woman. I will figure this out. And he goes, are you listening to yourself? Like, you have a month to figure your shit out, and you're in, like, some deep trouble right now. And I was like, fuck.
You're a good salesman. God damn it, he's right.
I was like, he is right. And I always promised myself I never wanted to live with a guy unless what?
Are you married? Or engaged, at least?
Unless I had a ring on my finger, And that's just the way I was raised, and I had to suck it up. And I was like, okay, fine, we'll live together. And then, fast forward 3.5 years later, we were engaged to be married. Oh. And it's so funny because if he didn't do that.
Is that your husband now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That's
he
awesome.
stepped up.
Shout him out.
Anthony. He stepped up to the plate.
Well, he's got a good last name.
Yeah, Andrade.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because my maiden name is Walusek.
Does Andrade drive a Maserati?
One day, maybe. One day. But it's so funny because if I was dating somebody and they lost their job and they were like a broke bum, I don't know if I'd be like, yeah, come live with me. I don't know if I would ask a guy to do that, which is, such a double standard. But anyway, that's what happened. And so I took maybe 5 months off unintentionally. I couldn't find a job. I was trying to figure, my shit out. And then I got a job over at a sports station.
Oh, okay. 620?
No, it was
98.7 The Fan?
Yeah, it was The Fan.
Yeah. With Booger McFarlane and
it wasn't Booger. It
Ron
was
and Ian?
It was Kirk and Dinger.
Oh, okay.
Dinger,
So they were around
the lightning
12.
player.
That was 12.
Yeah.
12 p.m. I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So, and then Roxanne did the morning show. So I don't even know. It was such a long time ago.
No,
Oh my
I
God.
do. I used to listen to him all the time.
Yeah.
It was a great show.
So they also needed a female on the show big time to like handle those two. And so I needed a job, and I've always loved sports.
Yeah.
Kind of like you.
Yeah.
I like sports. I watch sports. I've been watching sports like
Are
my
you a
whole
Bucks
freaking
fan?
life. Of course I am. Big Bucks fan. I'm also a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Which
so.
is too.
Which is good right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's our
team.
only hope in Florida right,
Right,
now.
really.
Well, and the Dolphins. But,
Yeah. Well, you know, it depends on where you want to kind of skew that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked in sports, and at that time I was going into the Bucks locker room, and I was doing interviews with like these big fucking players, and like some are crazy. I think it's Aqib Talib.
Oh,
Aqib Talib,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Like him in the locker room, like, I am a little scared of you. Everybody would be asking questions with the microphone. I'd be like, I'm going to step over here just a little bit.
What year was that around? Trying to get a
Keep
consent.
Leave. Who was the coach? It
was Greg Schiano?
No, was it Greg Schiano?
That does ring a bell, yeah.
Or was it the other
Lovey
dude?
Smith.
Lovey Smith, maybe.
I forget the year.
Bro, when you went in there, did they just have their junk just like out, and you were like looking around,
Yeah.
like, oh my god?
So it was right out of like, fresh off the field or beforehand or practice and all that. And they would come right out of the showers. And most of them would have, all of them would have their towels on, but it's their freaking locker room.
Yeah.
And so, they would be walking around and stuff like that. And they would not hide anything, but I would always just be like, okay, can you say that? So, but some things you just can't hide, basically.
So you were really.
I don't care how big that towel. That's a third leg.
Yeah. But they would come fresh out of the shower. It is literally right there. That's how the locker room is set up.
I mean, that must have been actually a pretty cool. So was it airing live? Your interview?
It wasn't airing live. So I would do the training, and then sometimes it would be pre and then post.
Did you go to $1?
Yeah.
All the time, right? During training camp and all
the
that
time.
shit?
Yep.
Same with the lightning?
Yep. Well, I didn't do the lightning. We had somebody else doing the lightning. And I really, I wasn't so much into hockey at that time just because I didn't know anything about the sport. And I look back on it and I'm like, man, I wish somebody would have taken me in there to go do all that stuff and learn more about it. But yeah, so I did that for, I think, almost about 2 seasons with the Bucks.
What were you doing off season then?
I was still on air,
yeah.
with the fan and just kind of working and just trying to figure out extra stuff. And so I found out that Wild 94.1 with Orlando is actually in the same building. So they're like 3 studios.
They were
down.
iHeart, weren't they, at the time?
No. So
or were they Beasley?
It was CBS at the time, and CBS got rid of all their radio stations. So some of them were bought by iHeart at that time, but also a lot of them were bought by Beasley Media, and Beasley bought out all the conglomerate like radio stations at that time. So we're still in the same building, but now it's owned by Beasley Media Group. And so right down the hallway, there's Orlando. I know Orlando, and I'd always see him, and I make sure I was like looking cute because I worked for a sports station and all that stuff. And I found out that he needed a female on his show because the female was leaving. And I remember going in there, and I was like, oh, listen here. So I like sports, but I hate working in sports. So I don't know how to describe that. If you love sports, you don't want to work in the industry because it is just you won't enjoy it anymore at all. And at least in my opinion, I couldn't really enjoy what I was doing.
It's one topic all the time.
Oh my God. It was a Rays stadium. Where are they going? What are we doing? I'm just kind of like, it would blow my brains out because I didn't find any enjoyment out of that. But what I would like to find enjoyment out of is talking about music and celebrities and rappers and talking about my life and all that, silly, crazy stuff. So I went over to Orlando and I pitched myself and he listened to me and then he picked another female over me.
Who was it?
He picked this, I think her name was Sarah Lee. And so she worked there for about 6 months and I would see Orlando every day. And then all of a sudden she didn't want to be there anymore. And he needed another co-host in there like ASAP. And I remember him coming, he like walked right over to me and he was like, hey, are you still interested in working at Wild? Because I was working at the Fan, and we worked 3 studios down from each other.
Can't really say too loud.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Because you basically...
Because you're poaching, right?
Yeah, for sure. Which I'm down for, by the way. Because I did not want to work at the Fan anymore. So anyway, I was like, hell yeah, get me out of this nightmare right now, please. And yeah, so I think after some negotiations and figuring some stuff out, 2 weeks later, boom, I was on Wild.
Which is actually a good thing because the Fan caved.
Yeah, it did. And now it's the Shark. Well, it went to Bubba and then it went to Shark.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and so ever since I've been on there, and I worked with Davi in Orlando, and then we had Mark, our producer, on there for a long time.
Was Buck on there also?
Buckwheat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Buckwheat. But he did nights, and then they moved him up to afternoons. Yeah, and he was with Steffi. So, but yeah, we've all worked together at Wild for like such a long time.
Do you ever talk to DJ Chris Sean?
Yeah. I mean, we're not like super close or anything like that, but we definitely keep up
while
with
you were working there, I'm just curious. I mean, because I know he didn't really DJ. He did the 5 o'clock bomb a couple times.
Yes, yeah.
And he had the whole Club Sky birthday bash thing. I know that 94.1 heavily promoted every once in a while.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. I've worked with him several times. I have nothing but nice things to say about him. Very good work ethic, knows his shit. But I never really got to consistently work with him, like DJing on the morning show.
On the morning show, who would you say is the most famous person that you had on?
We've had a lot of people on. I mean, Mace comes to mind right now. I mean, Nicki Minaj we've talked to.
Were they in studio?
So Nicki was on the phone. And the first time I talked to her, I don't know what was going on, but she was like not in the mood to talk to me or Davi. And I remember because we were like super excited to talk to Nicki Minaj, okay? And she was saying how we were asking her about when she was dropping her next album, and this is years ago. And she was like, oh, it's not going to be for a while. It's not ready. Probably months down the line. She was kind of giving us a little bit of attitude. And I get it because she most likely had 10 interviews lined up that day. And I don't know who she was talking to before, but we were just fans, like trying to like have a good conversation with her. Yeah. She wasn't fucking with us. And she lied to us because 12 hours later she dropped her new album. And I'm like, bro, I just asked you. I have the audio right here. But anyway, so maybe it was a secret. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so she dropped her new album. But we've had a lot of celebrities. Mike Epps.
How about the one that you were most starstruck by?
Okay, so
Vin Diesel, Dwayne The Rock. I'm just taking guesses.
I mean, I like wrestling, so if The Rock came in the studio, oh my god! I was on the MJ Morning Show, and John Cena was walking by, and I saw him, and I was like, we were in the middle of a topic at 8:30 a.m., which is like our drive time, and I got my ass out of the chair. I ran out of the studio. MJ's like, where the hell is he going? I'm in the middle of talking to you about something, and I was like. I ran over to John Cena. I was like, and he's like in this nice gray suit and he's looking so good. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. I just ran out of the studio. Can I please take a quick picture with you? Step, bye. And then I ran back in and they were like, what did you leave for all of a sudden? I go, John Cena was in the studio. So crazy. But yeah, so John Cena was exciting. We've always had a lot of wrestlers and athletes and stuff.
A lot
like
of
that.
them live in Tampa.
Yeah, of
Dave
course.
Bautista
Of
used
course.
to live there.
So my house was lived in this same neighborhood that he has now. Yeah. He has like the biggest property in the area. And we had like tiny little property. And anyway, that neighborhood gets so crazy for Halloween in Port Tampa. That's where he lives. Oh my God. By the way, that's the same street that
where's Port Tampa?
Yeah, where
are you talking like 22nd Street?
No. And so South Tampa?
Yeah.
You know where Gandy is?
Yeah.
Keep going all the way down till you hit McDill.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, but that's the same street that Hulk Hogan grew up on. And then Batista's there, and then Titus would always visit his house and stuff like that because I'd be walking around and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so cool right now. But for Halloween, kids will line up like down the street just to meet Batista and see him like hand out
Is
candy.
he actually there?
He has definitely been there, yeah.
For Halloween?
Yeah. I don't know if it's every single year, but I mean, it's still like the talk of like Tampa, like in that area. Like if you want to meet Batista or you want to see him or something like that, or get candy from him, like go down there and party. So yeah, a lot of wrestlers, a lot of celebrities,
Athletes.
I remember when I met Adam Levine. I was like,
No way.
and he called me beautiful, and I was like,
Did he start singing to you?
I know.
Honey, I'm sorry. Take it back.
Yeah, I can't get back to you right now. I don't know where my panties went. I'm sorry. They left the building. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we've had a bunch of really cool people that we've had a chance to interview.
Sounds like, because I've listened to the morning show quite a few times, especially
awesome.
back when you actually weren't on it, but also when you were on it, and it's so fun. It seems like you guys have a great dynamic. You guys are able to bounce off of each other.
Yes.
It never seems like a dull moment. Is that chemistry always been there, or is that something that you guys had to work at?
So it's definitely, I would say it's developed a little bit more over time, but at the same moment, like we kind of just like each other. We kind of just.
Is that why you got Sarah Lee first?
It is. I don't. It's sometimes your picker is off. That's what I say. Like sometimes you pick the wrong people, or you hope for the best, and then it doesn't work out. But obviously, I was the right choice to begin with.
Clearly.
And so yeah, we just have a really nice flow, a really good vibe. And when Davi was on the show, it was amazing because Davi was always the contrarian. Always. And he would just say like shit, just piss Orlando off half the time. And then they'd be arguing and I'd just be like, oh my God, like, are you guys like, what's going on right now? And then I get to interject and then but it's just like a natural kind of friendship. Like you guys bullshitting with each other at the bar.
Do you actually like go to lunch with them after work or whatever? Like, is there a relationship outside of radio? I've always wondered that because I'm like, I look at people that do morning radio shows or any radio show. I'm always wonder, do they go out and hang out, or is it just, hey, this is work, this is it, we're done?
Some do. But if you think about it, I essentially hang out with them more than I do my own husband or kids.
Because you're on the radio for like 6 hours, 4 hours?
4 hours. And then I do a midday show on the Shark. Yeah. And it's just a lot of time. Here's what it is. I see y'all all day, every day. Okay, even at events and this charity and this, that, and I want to go home and like I want to relax. I'll go to lunch and hang out and stuff like that if I have the time. But I don't like mixing too much of my personal time with work because that's backfired in the past. Like people think that they really can talk to you slick, or I'm not talking about the people that I work with now, but it's happened in the past. Yeah. And so, or boundaries will be overstepped, or people talk about you, about your personal life or something like that behind your back. So I like to keep my work, and then once I leave, I want to go home. Like, I just want to have a home life, and I want to just kind of decompress at the same time.
You heard it here first, folks. Do not shit where you eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when we get back, like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe on all the podcast platforms. We'll be right back. It's recording. Everything's recording. 18 minutes, 44 seconds.
Is this the last segment, or is
however much time Meredith has? I mean,
I'm good. Yeah, it's 4. I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
as long as you guys are okay.
Oh, that's me right here.
Is it my phone?
Hey, you know what? You should just get rid of the headphones, bro.
I like hearing everybody talk on the radio. It's like
it's not the radio. It's a headphone.
In my head, it's the radio. It's the radio.
How long have you guys known each other for?
We're brothers.
Oh, so forever.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We had no choice.
Who's the oldest?
Take a guess.
You.
No.
Yes, I always win.
You're giving him shit. That's why.
Gotcha, bitch. Everybody always guesses I'm the oldest. I chalk it up to because I have a more mature personality.
Okay. I could definitely see that. That could be why I picked that.
So she doesn't believe that.
Does it bother you when people do that?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
I don't care. It is what it is.
It sounds like you kind of do sometimes.
He's cutting.
Hand me the bandages again.
Oh my God.
Hey Meredith, when you kind of go to a different
did we
radio
start now?
I mean, we already had started.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. But when you go to different, like, let's say different radio stations, do they pick characters for you? Kind of like you were saying, like with the first one you ever worked at, that they were like, oh, you're going to be kind of like a ditz or whatever. Yeah. Do they do that a lot in radio? Where they go,
do that at 94.1?
This is the character we want you to play.
So that's a good question. It depends on your program director, who's running the radio station. I remember up in Jacksonville, they didn't like my name Meredith because it's not very radio friendly. And so they were bouncing off ideas like Candy or like
What are you, a stripper?
You know, like Samantha Wolf or something like that. I'm like, I don't know. I just like just being myself, you know, and I get like the name Meredith sounds like an old lady, and I totally understand that. Okay, I get it. But also, at the same time, like, I don't know what other name would kind of just fit me or my personality.
What's your middle name?
Emily.
Emily.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Emily Wolf.
Emily Wolf.
I like it.
Yeah.
Actually, no, even better. Emily Andretti. Andretti.
Andretti.
Yeah.
Actually,
that was before the time. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before. Yeah.
But honestly, it depends on your program director and what his opinion is about who you should be and all that stuff. Now, sometimes you'll have like a stickler when it comes to that, and they're like put their foot down, like no, you need to make sure you have a radio name. You know, the audience doesn't know you or all that, and sometimes they'll actually listen to you, like some feedback, and then you'll kind of get your way. But on the MJ morning show, they didn't mind my name Meredith, but also I had to play the character up for being like a ditz. But when I worked with Orlando, the very first meeting I had with him is, okay, let's talk about the morning show. I know you've listened before, blah, blah, blah. So we went over and reviewed everything. And then he goes, here's a big thing with me. He goes, whatever you did in your past, I don't like it with over there at FLZ or, the sports station here and there. I just want you to be yourself here. I don't want you to play a character. I don't want you to play a role. Wild is about authenticity, and that's how we connect with our audience. I don't want you to yuck it up on a microphone like, this song is coming up, guys, like stupid stuff, or don't overdo your voice. I just want you to sound like yourself and have a natural, organic conversation with the audience and talk to them like, they're your friends and they've known you for a while. And I don't want any of that. And God's honest truth, like it's still like that to this day. And you can hear the difference. Like if you ever turn on different radio stations, wherever you may be listening, it could be in Oregon or wherever, you can hear the difference between the yuck brands, like the fake kind of weird, and just somebody talking to you, maybe even like at a rock station, they might put it on a little bit like to sound like more rugged.
Yeah.
But literally, they're just having a conversation with you at the end of the day. And isn't that what you want? Or do you want somebody like overselling, like a car dealership, come buy, sell kind of stuff? It's just so weird.
You're so right, because essentially what we want to feel is that we are part of the conversation when we're listening to the radio. Even though we may not be able to speak, we want to feel like we're at the table. That's kind of why we started this podcast. We're like, yo, dude, we could definitely do it. We were sitting at Hooters. We were just eating some wings. No bullshit. Right?
I wasn't there, honey. I was not there.
And I was like, yo, bro. Because I was listening to the conversation me and my brother and two of our buddies were having. I was like, yo, we could just start a fucking podcast. Yeah. Everybody's doing this shit, but they're putting on some kind of front. They're talking to individual, or maybe just even talking to the camera, not really talking to anybody.
They say talking at you instead of talking to you or with you.
Or yeah, exactly.
I don't want to be talked at.
No,
and I definitely don't want you to yell at me. Like sometimes a lot of people will be like yelling, like this is not a club. Like I'm literally in my car, like listening to you right now. I don't understand what's going on. But so there's different, and it's not to take a shot at anybody because maybe that's how
let's
they
take
learned.
Shots. Pew pew pew.
Maybe that's what they want to do. That's not what I want to, and that's not how I want to be portrayed on air. I just kind of just want to be myself.
So then we have 100% authentic Meredith.
Yeah, this is just me at the end of the day. I'm married. I have 2 kids that stress me out half the time, but that I love and that I will defend till I die. And, I'm a really hard worker and I love what I do. And a lot of people can't honestly say that. They can't wake up every single morning and say like, wow, I can't wait to go to work or what am I going to do today? And I understand that. So if I can make them feel better starting off their day or put a smile on their face or even make them laugh even for a second, that's the only thing that makes me happy. That's the only thing that's really important to me.
When Meredith is not hanging out with her kids or on the radio, what are Meredith's hobbies?
I like to nap. That's very important to me.
Wait, is that a hobby?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's
sure
a very
shit
important
is, I
hobby.
guess.
Well, I mean, I
Like,
take,
do you like to like do sports or some shit or?
so I like to scroll on TikTok. No, I honestly like hanging out with my girlfriends. And I don't get a lot of alone time like just to myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have young kids or older kids.
He does, yeah.
1 year old?
No, about to be 2.
18 months.
Oh my gosh.
22 months. But I play with him. Like, I go in the backyard and we just play golf,
Yeah.
sports, all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
then I toss him the ball and then he brings it back to me, kind of like fetch.
Yeah.
Are you treating him like a dog? That's like knocked up, bro.
We have a
He's playing fetch with your kids.
Is his name Rover?
We have a basketball hoop, okay? So he brings it to me and I throw it and
Yeah.
then he throws it. So
Well, as he gets older, it's going to be even more time consuming with the sports and everything. And if you have more kids, it's just going to ramp up. So I don't really have a lot of alone time. And when I do, it's literally maybe having a glass of wine with one of my girlfriends or trying out a new restaurant in town. And those are kind of my hobbies besides cooking. I love to cook. I go to the grocery store maybe every day, every other day. And I buy fresh ingredients. I try out new recipes. And I teach my kids how to cook. And I painted and drew like a lot growing up. That's one of the reasons I went to UNF. And, I did pottery and all this stuff, but I don't have personal time for any of that anymore right now. And maybe, it is so tough.
I mean, with the kid, as soon as
There's
I get home,
there's no
he
way.
gives me, he's like, you don't got any time to do it. It's like, bro, give
Yeah.
me the time. This guy is 2 years old running
Right.
around. The only way I can get him to stop is I trap him in his little den and put on Mickey Mouse Funhouse.
Right, exactly. And so you just
Put him in prison.
Right. Kid prison. That's the best prison, by the way.
Yeah.
You just don't have time for anything else at the moment. So I tried to have like my little artwork at the house, which is cooking essentially. And so my mom taught me how to
So
cook
she puts
growing
on
up.
Be Bobby Flay, Guys Grocery Games.
I wish
You're
I
on
could
the
do that. No, it's
No?
like Pixar is on
Yeah.
Oh,
TV
yeah. How old are your
or Nightmare
kids?
Before Christmas. So I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Oh God, yeah.
And so it's just, either they're playing or they're fighting and trying to kill each other. And so I'm breaking that up or yelling at them and I'm trying to cook. And, so there's just always, but I it sounds like I'm bitching a lot, but I genuinely love my life and I love the family. It's stressful. So if I get a moment to myself and I can just lay there in silence.
So,
Take a nap.
so Trader Joe's, Whole
Yeah.
Foods, or Publix? Which one do you shop at for the fresh ingredients?
I would say Publix.
Publix?
Publix.
Yeah, that's
and
my
then,
stop, too.
yeah, exactly. I'm there like, I swear to God, like every day. Get me a pub sub or whatever.
Yeah, oh
but
my
after
God.
this, I'm going to Trader Joe's. I go there once or twice a month just to try out new stuff. And
Where's there a Trader Joe's
How
around
dare
here?
you? What is wrong? There's one off of South Del Mabry on Swan in South Tampa.
What's so good about that place? Like they're thinking about
Oh,
putting one
man.
over where I live, over in Newport or Trinity.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Newport Richie.
Because it is Newport
Trinity,
Richie.
yeah.
It's different.
It's different. It's a little small area. Newport Richie's out here.
It's just, it's so they have a lot of like holiday stuff that they'll bring in and a lot of new foods that you can't get anywhere else. You can't get them at Whole Foods, you can't get them at Publix. And so you try it and then once they're sold out, it's out.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's why it's also really cool. You get to try new stuff. And then if you really like it, you better get your ass back over there and try it again. But I love food. I know they say never trust a skinny cook, and I get it. But I am a good cook, okay?
Yeah, talking about food, I really love food. And there's so many restaurants in Tampa
Yeah.
that have amazing food. Me personally, my favorite restaurant's Eddie V's.
Okay.
You stole it from me. That's
Really?
fine.
Eddie V's is so
What?
good.
It is.
What is your favorite restaurant?
Yeah,
in
because South Tampa does have so many cool
Yeah,
restaurants.
they got
Like,
Limelight.
I gotta drive
Well,
like
that's
an
downtown.
hour from Trinity to get to a good restaurant.
You mean
I'm
Newport Richie?
like, Newport Richie. I gotta drive about an hour because my wife likes all the South Tampa restaurants.
I know. And honestly, I live like 10 minutes away from them all. And that's another reason why I live in South Tampa. And not only to sound super bougie, but also because the food there is so freaking amazing. It's just so good.
So, what is your favorite restaurant?
If I just want like a good steak, I love Eddie V's.
Eddie
So I
V's,
love
yes.
Eddie V's so much. But I kind of I like Charlie's just
Oh,
for
Charlie's
a good
is good,
steak.
too.
And normally
Yeah.
I can get a reservation there.
How about one of these non-franchised restaurants? Something that is a hole in the wall, maybe in Hyde Park, maybe in downtown Tampa. How about something like that?
So for Mexican food, I like Miguel's.
Miguel's
Off the
is-
That's off of
Kennedy, it's
Kennedy,
so
yeah.
good. Guac and cheese, and that's a little bit.
Guac and cheese is the name of a restaurant?
Guac and cheese, yeah.
No
Never
way.
heard of it.
Yeah, and that's another Mexican restaurant that's in South Tampa as well. I love Yoko's. I love fresh seafood. I can eat seafood every single day of my entire life, except that it annoys the shit out of my husband. So I literally have to mix in like meat and potatoes in there every other night. What other ones? I mean, I could list like a million of them.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
We're going to the Pearl on Saturday.
That's nice. I've been there for lunch. I'm telling you,
never been there.
I'm a foodie. It's really good. I will go to a new restaurant all the time.
Meredith, can you tell the audience how to be a foodie and stay thin?
A lot of cocaine people.
I did. It was hard losing weight after 2 kids, especially the second kid. Oh my God, kill me. But what I did was intermittent fasting, so
Intermittent fasting is not eating in the morning.
So it's really simple. There's 3 different ways you can do it, but the way that worked best for me was you eat within an 8-hour window every single day. Every single day, you eat within an 8-hour window, and that's it.
So you don't eat for 16 hours.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, I can have coffee, I can have this, I can have that. As long as I work out, I mean, I can cheat a little bit and have a glass of wine outside of that window. But I never had an issue because I'm always so busy anyway, running around or doing the show. Like I don't have time to make myself a breakfast. So I'm having coffee, and then after that, I have meetings, and then I'm podcasting or I'm editing this, just like you guys will be doing. And so by the time I get home, I'm hangry, and then I can have my first big meal, and it just works out naturally for my schedule.
Doing a morning show, you actually have to go to sleep early.
Very early, and this is one of the biggest arguments in my relationship. It pisses my man off so much that like it's lights off, no questions asked by 10 o'clock. Because I wake up at 4.
For the whole family?
No, for me.
Oh, okay.
You can go do whatever you want. Please leave and go watch all the sports or The Office. Like, I don't care.
Oh,
but
The
don't.
Office.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Seinfeld and The Office.
All the time. And go enjoy yourself. Do whatever you need to do. The kids are already in bed. But I need at least 6 hours of sleep. And by the way, to get to sleep, sometimes it takes a little bit. So literally it's 5.5 hours of sleep a night.
Or you could just hit a bowl real quick.
I'm
serious.
Just pass out.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I get to sleep. Is literally hitting a bowl or a bong and then go to sleep. It's easy for me. And I have the best sleep ever. So, but you were saying so.
My husband doesn't like me
But what
smoking.
time do you have to wake up?
4.
So 10 to 4, 6 hours, yeah.
And sometimes there's like a caveat there. There's like, I don't know, I'm finishing an episode on Netflix, like the Usher House or whatever that was on Netflix, which is badass, by the way. You guys should totally watch that.
I've never even heard of it.
So it was just released for Halloween. But so anyway, there's 20 minutes left of this episode. And then you feel guilty. Yeah. But I don't give a shit. I would totally turn off that TV and tell that person, my husband, to get out of the room. But also, you're in a relationship. You don't want to be a dick. So yeah, sometimes it's 10:30.
Sometimes it's good to be a dick.
Yeah.
What does your husband do?
He works for ABC Action News.
So then he works during the day?
He does. Yeah. So he gets the kids ready every single morning.
Difficult?
I'm not even there.
Is that difficult for let's just say the relationship, having to go to sleep so early, wake up so early while he is, doing?
Yeah, we have opposite schedules.
Yeah. Is that difficult?
It's been difficult in the past, kind of working through each other's schedules. Again, I need to go to bed and he doesn't need to go to bed that early. And he also has to deal with the kids in the morning, which is a lot because somebody may wake up with a cold. Somebody may need this. Someone's throwing a tantrum. Someone won't get dressed and they have to be in school at a certain time. And it's like a shit show, but I'm never there. And I work. Like,
everybody got to school today?
Exactly. So I take care of all the nighttime regimen stuff, but yeah, it's definitely been, he definitely, gets the morning show stuff or morning regimen. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Morning shift.
It's hard from what I hear.
Yeah.
Right. She's like, I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
Anthony, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's a hard worker though, and then he goes to work all day.
But he does the normal he gets to work around like 8 or 9,
to 5, right?
And then he's off.
He probably
at 5.
has to drop the 3-year-old off.
Yeah. So they both get dropped off at school, and then he goes to work. He can work from home half the week, but then he also has to go to the studio. Yeah. So he works in sales. So he does that, and that's actually how we met. We worked at the Clear Channel, the iHeart building, which they sold, by the way, off of Gandy. They're knocking that down.
Gandy and Pinellas, right?
Gandy and Del Mabry in South Tampa.
On the Tampa side.
Oh, okay.
And it's a big historic, I don't want to call it historic, but there's been so much history in that building. It's crazy to think that they're just knocking it down just to build more apartments or more condos.
Well, they knocked down Derek Jeter's house without thinking twice.
Somebody's building. They're building a new house there.
Yeah.
But that house was already massive.
It's gorgeous,
I
know.
It was
the back had like this beautiful like patio pool area.
It was the intercoastal, bro.
I know.
The shit looked dope. But
well, that's why Giselle got mad. That's why she hated the house, because people would just drive by in their boats and they would see right in and be yelling for Giselle or Tom when they were married and all that. And it was like a really big issue.
I think what she got jealous at is that all the pretty women were yelling, "Hey, Tommy!" throwing their tops, and then she's like, "You need to move from here."
Yes, I'm kind of tired of this. Or the beads or Gasparilla. Them being drunk off the boat. That was like iconic.
Or throwing the fucking Lombardi trophy across.
Oh my God, I know. His daughter's like, "No, Daddy." He did it though. Don't you question Tom Brady.
And it got caught. And it got caught though.
Right.
You don't throw
How cool would it have been if it actually sunk to the bottom of the river?
It would have been hilarious.
It would have been awesome.
So funny.
Bro, that would have been the epic stamp to Tom Brady's career.
Right.
Lost the Lombardi trophy.
Well, talk about Karen's, right? Talk about Karen's, the lady who are the daughter of the guy who made the Lombardi trophy was so fucking pissed about Tom Brady throwing the Lombardi trophy.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
She hasn't been fucked in 5 years.
That's what it probably was. But going to that cancel culture.
Yeah.
But we only have 1 minute left.
Okay.
All right. So keep listening to Happy Hour Holidaze. I got put on the spot.
We've been drinking a little bit.
Follow us and like us.
Yeah, follow, like, subscribe, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that bullshit. Y'all already know the spiel.
Holidazers, keep tuning in.
There we go.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Holidazers.
Are you barking or what the fuck's going on?
I'm gonna fuck up on the thing over here. But before we go into the cancel culture, I want to, that shit is fucking hard to say sometimes. But,
No, it's not. Cancel culture.
Cancer. Because I am
cancer culture. You know what? Cancer culture and cancel culture?
Cancel culture.
Are the same shit, though.
Yeah. You guys almost fucked us.
But Meredith, what's the most rewarding, what's the most rewarding thing about being a radio personality, and what keeps you passionate about it?
I thought we were talking about cancel culture.
We are, but I just want to touch on this because, people might want to know what, what's rewarding to Meredith about the...
So working in radio, the feedback that we get, just people having like a really shitty day or going through a traumatic experience, losing somebody and a lot of people keep stuff to themselves, and I'm very similar to that. There's a lot that I talk about on air, and again, I'm very authentic about that, but there's also some stuff you want to keep private at the end of the day. And so if I can just make somebody smile, that's fabulous. Like literally, that makes me so happy. But also all the charity work and all the charities we're also a part of. There's a children's network that we work with. We do the Toy Tower. Orlando lives outside for 8 days. Up on...
Oh, yeah, right by the wing house,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Up, like,
does he actually live out there?
Yeah, in a tent. It's crazy.
Where does he use the bathroom?
So there's a porta potty up there, but he refuses to poop there. So he doesn't go to the bathroom for, 8 days.
What? There's no way that's true.
Yeah, that's very true. We talk about it every year. He's so mad at me when I bring it up. So I'm sure
is he not eating food or what?
He eats. No, because all the meals are sponsored. And so not only are they talked about, but then, he needs to eat something. He can't not eat for 8 days. So, but yeah, he does his best to make sure he doesn't go up there because there's a lot of guests and stuff that come up there as well. So he feels uncomfortable using the porta potty.
Manny, have you ever not shit for 8 days?
No, I don't think it's possible, but it looks like it really is now.
Yeah, there you go.
But we work with a lot of, besides pooping, we work with a lot of charities and we raise a lot of money. So I'm lucky enough to host this charity event that's coming up called Cars and Couture. And it's raising money for the Autism Society. My brother's autistic, so there's a big connection for me as well growing up with an autistic brother. And it's a fun kind of charity event. Everybody gets to dress up. It's black tie. It's right up my alley, like fancy schmancy for a night.
Where's it at this year? Where's it at this year?
This year, so before it's been at the hangar at the
and what day is it also?
Okay, so I think it's November 18th. I was just looking it up.
They do a lot of events towards the holidays. You start seeing a lot of them.
It's
pop
charity
up.
season.
Yeah,
That's what they call it.
Charity season.
They do.
It's
Yeah.
wedding season, goddammit.
It's November 18th. And so this
That's
year.
a Saturday, by the way.
Yes, which is a good night to host something. And again, it's raising money for the Autism Society. But this year, it's going to be at the Tampa Museum, downtown Tampa.
Oh, shit.
The Children's
right?
Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Tampa
her. She's
Museum.
like, oh.
Well, I'm excited because you know what's funny is the progression of just me in Tampa in general. Like at the event, I was working as a model. So I'd be like walking the runway and stuff like that. And then eventually I didn't have to do that. I was an invited guest.
Oh.
So but now I'm hosting the entire event. And it's so funny and I don't know, I feel kind of proud at the same time and moment to see the progression of, even just my career. It's kind of eye-opening and I feel very blessed.
Would you move out of Tampa?
No, I don't think so. If anything, if I was lucky enough to make a lot of money, I would have a second house somewhere. But yeah, I'm not interested in moving out of Tampa.
If you were to have a second house, where at?
I would say either Asheville in the mountains somewhere where
Blue,
it snows.
Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yes, and that's where my husband proposed. There's like a big connection there. We used to fly to Asheville all the time. But with the kids, it's kind of hard. But either that or Hawaii. But Hawaii is so expensive. It's just better to kind of visit.
Yeah, I would say. Asheville is beautiful. That's a
It
great
is.
one. Between that and being in Tampa, a lot of the snowbirds that live around me, because I live in Newport Richie.
Yeah. Not Trinity.
Not Trinity. No, it is Trinity.
Let me check your license.
It says Trinity, right? But the snowbirds, they literally live in the Carolinas, and
Yeah.
they tell me, "Oh my God, it's beautiful." We go
It
to the
is.
Carolinas for the summer, and then we come here to Florida with Tampa with the winters. That it's just like such a nice breeze.
It's
like
so
such
nice.
a
Well, you get
beautiful.
all 4 seasons up there. So my mom just moved down here like a year ago, but my dad's still up there with my brother. And so visiting him or going up there, he doesn't want to move down here because it's so hot.
It is hot.
And he lives in Charlotte, like downtown Charlotte area. And it's just, he gets all the seasons and it's so pretty all year long. But I love Asheville because I always envision like a log cabin with snow
Oh, that's
and it's
beautiful.
Christmas
On the
morning
mountains.
and like the kids are running around. Not that that's going to happen. but
Grizzly
in my mind-
bear attacking
Right,
everybody.
Exactly.
Way to ruin my damn thing. I was Oh my God. So we left off now. We wanted to talk about
where did we
cancel
leave off?
culture.
Oh yeah.
Cancel culture.
Cancer culture, guys.
Which in some people's eyes could be a cancer.
It
if you think
is,
about
yeah.
it.
So it's similar.
Yeah. No, it's so weird how, there was such a big push for
Yeah.
cancel culture for such a long time. In the beginning, everybody's like, whoa, like what is going on? Because I think it started off with maybe like
Netflix? Was it Netflix?
It
No.
was. I
think
feel
you
like
might
it was
be right.
comedians at
Oh
first.
yeah.
Oh,
Dave
yeah.
Chappelle, right?
Like a
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle,
Yeah.
Roseanne Barr, just
When Chris Rock got slapped across the face by Will Smith.
no,
Yeah.
that wasn't it.
That's
that
keep
was-
my wife's name
Name
out
out
your
your
fucking
motherfucking mouth.
because he
What does
was
that have to do with cancel
because
culture?
his
Tried to-
wife has alopecia.
yeah.
Okay, so he said G.I. Jane. G.I. Jane has no hair.
Well, they tried to cancel Will, and then they also tried to cancel Chris
Yeah.
after that night. But in the very beginning of it, you saw it was either companies, and then it really was a big push with comedians. And so I think watching it happen, we're all just like, what the hell is going on here?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're still kind of like that. But then all of a sudden, there's people that might actually deserve to be canceled.
Like
Maybe
who?
like a Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like
all right.
like a Bill Cosby.
Maybe like a Bill Gates.
Yeah, something like that. As long as there's enough. R. Kelly. There's a reason that.
Well, they
Damn,
were
it sucks
they were
'cause I like his
pedophiles,
music,
bro.
but he is a
I know.
fucking pedophile.
You're talking about pedophiles and sexual fucking
Dude, how can
predators.
you listen to those? Some of those songs are so sexual, and they're about like 12-year-old
I
girls.
piss on you.
No, that was Dave Chappelle. man. That was Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I was
Drip,
wrong.
drip, drip.
Yeah,
I
but he
piss
actually
on you.
did drip, drip, drip
Yeah.
on a girl.
R.
Remember?
Kelly did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, there are definitely some people that definitely deserve it, but those are far and few between. I think if you're a comedian, there
Yeah.
should be kind of like a safe space out there.
There is.
Well, is there going to be a time when there's comedians and they can't go up on stage and just say whatever they want?
I think
that's
it
scary.
is right
I
now.
think, yeah, right
Well, Dave
now.
was just here, Dave Chappelle, and he touched on every single subject, and I feel like he's cancelable.
Yeah.
Only because he's
doesn't
he
care.
did Dave Chappelle's show, the
Right.
Chappelle show. I mean,
Right.
and he had skits where I mean, he named.
He was a KKK person. You know what I mean?
I mean,
And he did whiteface and all that stuff. And still to this day, you watch it on Netflix and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Those clips are so funny.
Andrew Dice Clay was also here.
Yeah.
On the 25th of October.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle was the 24th.
Wow.
Andrew Dice Clay was the 25th. You know Andrew Dice Clay, right?
Of course
Yeah.
I do. Little Miss Muffet.
Sat on her tummy, yeah.
Yeah. He's iconic in his own way.
He got canceled back in the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood said, we're not making any movies with you starring in it.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the origin of cancel culture. Andrew Dice Clay was the first person to get canceled, if you think about it.
It's been a long time. Now it's just ramped up just in general. And I was just
Is it because people are sensitive?
Are you kidding me? I don't know. Everybody wants to blame like the new generation.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. I'm okay with some change. Like not everything needs to stay the same. Like
the new generation, I don't know,
are
man.
too sensitive.
They're drinking too much almond milk, which is putting too much estrogen. This is Big Bang Theory reference.
Okay.
Too much estrogen in their bodies.
Okay. All right. Well, that could
For
be a
men.
thing. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm dead ass serious. That's a Big Bang Theory
I
reference.
thought you meant the TV show. So.
Yeah, the TV
Really?
show, Big Bang Theory. He's like, he was talking. Sheldon was talking to Leonard, and he goes, "You've been drinking too much almond milk, which has been producing too much estrogen. That's why you're so moody and pissy."
Oh my God, I missed that. That's interesting.
It's season 6, like episode 20.
They had so many fucking
They did.
seasons. I don't know.
That's what I watched.
They
when I was
have
on
12.
maternity
They
leave.
have 12 seasons.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount.
It's amazing.
But
show.
then what I read yesterday was that now Homer Simpson isn't going to strangle Bart Simpson anymore because they feel like it's wrong to strangle their kids. And I go, you just hold on a second. I grew up loving The Simpsons. I mean, loving. I've seen every episode. And the first several seasons are by far the funniest and the best. And some of the funniest parts are when Homer gets so mad at Bart. He like chokes him out so bad. Sorry. He chokes him out so bad that it Bart can barely talk, but he's also talking shit to his dad at the same time. That is hilarious. And what kind of message are we sending to the public where they don't look like people?
Yeah.
They're yellow.
Yes.
It's The Simpsons. They've been around for like over 30 years or some shit like that.
Yep.
Who is choking their kids out because they're watching Homer Simpson choke their kids out?
Yeah. And they predict the future.
Well, not
Right.
well.
We need
Actually,
them in
yes,
our lives.
yes, they do.
Yeah.
Bro, that's Nostradamus except Simpsons.
Yeah. Why are we?
Well, let's talk about South Park.
I love South Park.
Oh
I
my
was just
God.
watching them last
Yeah.
night.
South
I
Park's
like South Park.
hilarious.
South Park is hilarious.
If they cancel South Park,
They're not going to.
exactly, just
Yeah.
like they're not going to cancel The Simpsons. But it's like, bro, stop being so fucking emotional.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
I mean, take
just
your
a cartoon.
feeling. It's a cartoon.
And by the way, if you don't like it, you can turn it off.
yeah, or change the channel.
Change channel.
How do you do
Watch
that?
something else.
Well, there is an
I'm
up button
offended, so
and
it
a
can't
down
exist.
button.
What the fuck does that mean? It just, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. Things can exist even though you don't agree with them.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of things are going on like that.
No,
And you
and
just shut it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching movies in the 80s. I mean, I was just like, there's
They're the
no
best
way,
movies.
there's no
Yeah.
movies, these movies in the 80s, there's no way they would be able to
No.
be on right
Oh,
now.
well.
No way.
Tropic Thunder.
Oh my God.
No.
Tropic Thunder.
That would have had a fucking...
Bro,
somebody
that
would
was like
shit a brick.
2000 and what? Like 2009?
Yeah.
If Robert Downey Jr. did that again, oh,
I really
hands up.
want him to, though. That
I
would be
know.
cool.
Yeah,
Me
that would be
too.
awesome.
That would be
Tropic
so
Thunder
lit.
2?
Yeah, see, he doesn't want to get canceled. I
No.
think he's doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's just crazy though because I was watching South Park last night and there's a big thing. This might not be completely factual. It's just something I saw on TikTok.
This is 100% true for all you audience members out there.
I want to throw that out there because I wasn't able to do my research on it, but I will say this that it's alleged that the South Park writers got into it with Disney because they would make fun of Disney every now and then Disney has over the years just put them through the ringer trying to
Like
with
suing them?
lawyers. Yes, trying to because they're making fun of Disney, but the way that they did it, they didn't take like Mickey Mouse and name Mickey Mouse. They took a character that looked like him, and so they were able to legally do it. And at the time, Comedy Central backed them, and they were able to do it and totally fine. And then HBO was totally fine with it. Well, they're tired of it, and they see what
Who's tired of it? Disney or
so South
the
Park,
creators
the
of
creators
South
of South Park are just tired of putting up with Disney, and then they see what Disney is essentially trying to do, like with all their movies and the whole cancel culture.
Oh
And
my
instead of
God.
creating new movies for new characters, they're trying to change characters. So their new episodes that are out now are just making fun of the fact that, you know, Cartman in the future is going to be like an African-American woman. Kyle is Spanish. And if they keep going along with the way Disney is doing things, so they
and
are
Kyle's Jew, right?
right, yeah. And so basically, I guess that what I saw was that they're basically they're done with it, so they're just going to go after Disney now. So if you watch any of the new episodes, it's just all about cancel culture and what we're living in right now and how they're trying to change everything.
Yeah.
So it's
just
kind of
like-
interesting.
It's leave it alone. I mean, look, the originals were good. Why don't you guys try to come up with something
Something
different? And when
Well, they can't, right? Because of the actor strike, the writer strike, SAG-AFTRA.
You can still write.
Yeah, all you got to do is type it into Chat GPT. That shit will spit out an entire fucking
script?
Yeah, it will. It will.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. I think we're all kind of, I mean, maybe it's just the millennial in me, but I'm kind of tired of the whole cancel
Yeah.
culture unless it's egregious.
Yeah.
And I gave you examples of that. Like the
Yeah.
egregious stuff, I think everybody's like, oh yeah, nobody needs to see them.
Talking about egregious, what rhymes with egregious is Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's another one. He
Did
doesn't
you
give a
see
shit.
Did you see his speech? I think it was back in 2018 where he said, "Hey, accept your little awards, thank
Awards.
your agent, and get the fuck off the stage."
Yeah, don't talk about
The
politics or religion because nobody gives a shit what you guys
Exactly.
think about.
And he also said, like, you're so displaced from reality.
You are. They
that
are.
you don't understand how the average person lives.
Yeah, but think about these award shows in general, okay? These are awards for actors to give themselves awards. And they're just getting
Fact.
dressed up to hang out with each other. And I'm supposed to sit there at the TV and watch each other just celebrate like themselves.
I don't think I ever have.
You know, it's
after.
just, well, I used to just, you know,
I
for
did.
content
No,
and
I
stuff.
did. No, I did watch them, but I haven't watched one.
Did
in
you
such
watch
a
that
long-
speech
But it's
from
silly.
Ricky Gervais?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, hilarious.
It's kind of like the government taxing you on your paycheck, and then when you
And
go
then
buy something, they
they
tax
tax you
you to
again.
buy something.
Yeah.
And then once those people acquire that money, they get taxed from the tax money already, and it just goes down the ball
And
and
then
chain.
you get taxed by the IRS at the end of the year.
And then it's all bullshit to me.
Now,
It's
what?
all
Now,
bullshit.
one thing about cancer culture, fucking goddamn it. But I mean,
Cancer culture.
cancel. But
And hold that thought, because when we come back,
don't bust that nut yet. We'll be right back. Welcome back, holidayers. We were kind of talking about cancel culture, and I said it right that time.
yeah, you did.
And you know, it goes kind of both ways because then we kind of talk about where it goes as Target and Bud Light. You know,
The
and
company's getting involved
yeah,
with it.
yeah, kind of getting involved. You know, it's like I don't care if you want to do whatever you want to do, but when it comes to the Target portion of it, I mean, we're talking about kids here in the children's section. Kind of having bathing suits in the men's side and the
Oh,
girls'
that's
side.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they came out and said like they didn't make that decision, if I remember correctly, and it was just
They said they hired a third-party marketing company, and
right.
but the CMO of Bud Light still had to see the ad. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I just don't feel like things need to be put like let me be a parent and I can make that decision. I mean, some parents may not care, but I mean, I think most of us want to protect our kids when it comes to a lot of different aspects and avenues, and it should be our decision when we want to expose our kids to certain things or not. And by the way, you do whatever you want to do with your life and your family and all that stuff, but when you start affecting me and making decisions for me and my family, that's where people have a problem. The Bud Light situation, in my opinion, I don't necessarily think the whole company should be canceled because of a decision that maybe the president made or marketing person, they made a bad decision. You know, at the end of the day, there are people that still like Bud Light, and they're still being made fun of because they're drinking Bud Light and all that stuff. But I kind of went to school for communications, but I love advertisement in general. And I was it a mistake to do something like that? I mean, I think we all know the answer and the backlash with what happened. Do we need to cancel a beloved product and it doesn't exist anymore? I mean, in my opinion, no. I feel like they can turn that around and hopefully they will. But some people, they're just going to die and not have them anymore. But like,
Okay.
and that's totally cool. Like that's your decision. And they're going to have to eat that at the end of the day because those are decisions that they made. But I mean, I'm not going to cancel Bud Light because of that. Hopefully it'll come back around.
Can we say that taking politics out of everything would probably be the best situation for any business? Why get political?
I know. Well, that goes back to like the morning show you like listening to, like Dave and Chuck.
The Free. They don't get political.
Yeah, Shark. I'm just saying, like,
That's the plug. Maybe you guys listen to this. Please have me on. I'll drive up to Michigan. I don't care.
It's just if I want to listen to politics, I know where to go. If I need to get a political update, I have those avenues just like everybody else. But that's why so many people aren't watching like headline news as much as they were before. It's just so in our face every single day.
And it's all negative.
It's exhausting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why they said if it bleeds, it leads. Like
that's right. If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah, there's a reason. It's like the breaking news. Now everything is breaking news. Yeah, every single thing is breaking. No, it's not. It's just, stock market is down today a little bit. Okay, so but they're trying to get your attention.
Have you watched Anchorman 2?
Hello.
Oh my God! There's a car chase.
Yeah.
Put it on. We are following this car chase. Oh my God! Ratings are skyrocketing because he did a bet with the lead anchor during prime time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it bleeds, it leads.
That's the one with Christina Applegate, right?
Yeah. Well, she was in both of them, I think.
Yeah. So, but I like her part when she gets the host. She gets to actually be the anchor. She's like,
that was the first one, I think, right?
Power.
That was the first one.
She kind of took the lead.
Christina Applegate did a really good job on both of those movies.
She did. And also we grew up watching her.
Yeah.
She's always been hot.
We grew up watching her?
How dare you?
She was on
what was she on? Other than Anchorman. I don't know any other.
Fuck, man. Oh, Al
Bundy?
Yeah, Al Bundy.
Al Bundy, the serial killer?
No.
What the fuck?
No, it's family. What is it?
You're talking Al the fucking elf?
No.
Or not elf?
No. Oh my goodness.
It was Al Bundy. He had the show.
Bro,
Al Bundy, Christina Applegate.
Al Bundy's a fucking like serial killer, isn't he?
That's Ted Bundy.
Yeah. Ted Bundy. Okay.
Married with Children.
Married with Children. Yeah.
I never watched. My
wife was like,
Boy
you
Meets
don't know
World.
what show she was on?
Oh, yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I think Al Bundy really made it. I mean, all of them really made it, but he was pretty hilarious. And she was like, you've never seen that show?
That is so funny.
Is that where the guy's a shoe salesman?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
100%. Yeah, and he would be so mean to women, and he hated his wife, and she always wanted to fuck him.
And he got
and he was like, "Oh God, Peggy, go upstairs." Oh, ow.
Real man of America.
Yes.
Was Fran Drescher in there?
No, that was the nanny. We're getting our sitcoms mixed up.
Yeah.
I grew up watching a lot of TV and sitcoms.
I don't know. I think I met Bill Cosby from the Jeffersons. I got drugged, and then I couldn't remember half my childhood.
Wow. Oh
my God.
Bill, don't suicide me.
Oh. You're silly.
This is some fucked up shit you're saying, Manny. I can't believe you said that.
It definitely wasn't me.
I really appreciate coming on this podcast and drinking some White Claw, so thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you, Meredith, for taking time out of your day and coming over here to us little people.
Little people.
And give us
whoa.
What are you about to say? See, you guys are brothers, so you guys can totally rag on each other about stuff.
Yeah, well, you said little people. I've seen little people.
I'm the only big people here. My bad.
I don't even know where this conversation was going at this point. We were talking about Al Bundy, Ted Bundy.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture, yeah. Back to the topic.
But going into your career, Meredith, what do you see going forward from this point now? I mean,
I love working at Wild, and I mean, hopefully I will stay at Wild for as long as they will allow me to, because I really enjoy my time there, and I'm working with everybody that I do. If my time does come to an end, I'd like to do my own show. I've been offered my own show, not only in Tampa, but over the nation and different avenues and aspects. So I could definitely see that happening, especially since I've been doing it for such a long time. As they call it, I'm very seasoned. So I can definitely do my own morning show or have my own show. What
would your show be about?
Yeah, what would be your
topics? Very similar to what we already do. Just about my life, the audience lifestyle stuff, celebrity stuff, anything, again, funny, humorous, just to make people laugh and have a good day. Not too yuck, though. I want it to be relatable, you
Yeah.
know, almost like a reality show in a sense, but on the radio where you can follow along with our lives on a daily basis. But then also we'll talk about some fun stuff, maybe like similar topics to this, but then also like you're sitting down with your friends.
Have you thought about also maybe TV?
So I've done some TV in the past. I've tried out for some reality shows in the past.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Like Real World MTV or like what are we talking about here?
so-
The Bachelorette?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't think her husband would.
Well,
make
no,
it.
she
that.
said in the past.
I heard that like Bravo wanted to come here and do a couple of shows. I've tried out to do a couple of sports reality shows before. I've been on certain reality shows on the Discovery Channel. So I popped into stuff here and there. I've shot a lot of television commercials in town. I've been on billboards in town. So I mean, basically I'm for sale. I'm ready to work. I like to work. Not as a sex worker,
Well,
but
we're a tramp.
right. No, for sure. And so yeah, I mean, I like to work. If there's an opportunity for me to do something and it fits naturally and I don't have to be a fake person. Like I enjoy watching my trashy television, but do I really want my family involved in trash TV? I don't know.
You did such a good job on MJ Morning Show for
Thank
6
you.
years. They renewed your contract. How about being an actress?
No.
Oh, wow,
Absolutely
that
not.
was fucking quick.
No.
I don't want to be away from my family.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's
No, you move them with you all the way.
Well, it's like for 3 months while you shoot. I'm not really interested in that. First of all, my memory is like I don't think I could like memorize a script.
line.
Yeah, it
line.
would be very tough for me. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? You know, like that's a glamorous movie star or something like that. But I know myself. I'm not going to remember all my lines. And I kind of just like being a natural, like this, just
Yeah,
being
this is-
natural
yeah.
on air. Just give me a microphone or a microphone with a television. I feel like I can just have some fun instead of just pretending to be somebody I'm not.
Yeah.
That doesn't really fit my narrative.
That's going back to the character on being the ditz, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, do I really want to do that shit again?
Every single day, all day.
But I mean,
No.
it was how you got your start, so you can't knock it, right?
Not only that,
Exactly,
but you
and I
played it
don't.
so well that when you went back up to Jacksonville,
They knew
for that
exactly who I
funeral,
was.
They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're the Dids."
Yeah.
I mean, but you sold him on it because he was your theology teacher
It was
in high
crazy
school,
because
and he already knew who you
he
were.
knew. People would call in from my high school and be a part of the morning show. Be like, "Do you remember me?" Or like, yeah.
No.
So,
Yeah, no, I was about to say,
Who the fuck are you?
Did you ever say yeah?
Oh, yeah. Hey, send me a picture.
I remember I was talking about my high school because I went to a private school in St. Augustine at that time, and
Private school.
I know.
She comes from money.
no, my mom actually got 2 jobs just to make sure I could have like a better education at that time.
Did you go to Catholic school?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was only one in St. Augustine at that
Nothing
time.
but trouble then.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely. And so I was telling a story about how I would get in trouble every now and then, like rolling my skirt or like this and that, like really stupid stuff. And then she was I won't say her name because I got in trouble last time, but anyway, she was a sister blankety blank, and we didn't get along basically. And she took her ruler out one day and like slapped it on my knuckles and then, made me go on my knees to measure my skirt and all this stuff. Like she was really, really mean. And I told that story on air and she found out. And then the principal called me and then like these emails from the school were calling me saying I need to like take down the audio and I need to go on air. And I'm like, but that really happened. Like
Yeah.
I remember when you
Did
hit
you
me with a
take it down?
ruler. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she doesn't exist anymore on this planet. So, but anyway, she's not a very nice person to me at that time. But anyway, yeah, Sister Blankety Blank. That'll be her name.
The
forever.
reason I guessed Catholic school is because you took a class of theology in high school, and they typically do not teach that in public schools.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
which honestly, I look back on, and I was in choir. I sang choir for like 3 years, and I can't sing at all.
Oh my God, sing!
No. No, but what we do karaoke every Friday. So I performed like last week we did Ja Rule and Ashanti Mesmerize, and then we did a Diddy song before that. They
Do
did 50
Biggie
Cent.
Smalls juicy
Yeah.
in choir voice.
We do like all these different, so I can't sing, but also it goes back to like making people smile. Like sometimes karaoke and listening to somebody like who can't sing truly embarrass themselves in the car or on TV, and you can see it on socials. That makes them smile, and if I can make somebody stay, that makes me happy.
What do you normally do on your social medias? Since you mentioned socials, are you making reels of just skits, or what exactly are you doing with your socials? Are you using it to generate any revenue? Have you pursued that avenue at all? Or
So I mean, it's not like I have 200,000 followers or anything like that.
she has 38,000.7.
But it's good for me. And again, it's all organic. We were talking about that before. These are all just people that either genuinely are interested in me or they follow the show and they want to keep up with what we do or what I do. So it's all just daily life stuff. Like I'm with the kids or I'm grocery shopping. This is what I'm making for dinner. Or this is what's happening on the show today or behind the scenes stuff. I have been trying to monetize a little bit, but I don't want it to just be like an ad page. Yeah. If it makes sense. Like earlier today, I posted a season 2 consign, and I love,
a what?
Shoes, and I like purses, and I like to consign purses and secondhand stuff, or so that makes sense because if you know anything about me, I'm a girly girl, and I like all that kind of stuff. So that type of stuff kind of coincides with my social media because it makes sense. Now, if I'm, I don't know, think of something left field, it just doesn't make sense. I don't want to oversell or just sell my audience crap every single day. They don't deserve that.
Well, I guess, so are you 100% authentic on your social media?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And,
how can people follow you?
So on Instagram, it's Kiss, MEW, KISSMEW. And then, on Orlando and the Freak Show, you can follow us there, 98.7 The Shark. And on Facebook, it's just Meredith Walusek. I've been trying to change my name on Facebook, and they won't let me.
Yeah, it's a toughie.
On Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook. I could not change my name.
I think what's it say?
Your husband's like, when are you going to change that shit?
Yeah, when are you I gave you a ring.
Yeah, I gave you a ring. That was like 2 years ago. I still ain't getting that
well,
shit.
I think my wife changed her name on Facebook.
It won't. Mine's
it puts it in parentheses.
Page.
It puts it in. Oh, okay.
It's
well, that's
public
different.
page.
It's not a profile.
Right, exactly. So it's a fan page, basically. And that's the thing. If it's a fan page, it's hard to change. Yeah, literally, I've been told no a million
times. And do you have like the blue
check on Instagram? Yeah. I do.
That's probably why you can't change it.
Probably.
Because you were verified. Now, after
that, it's hard to change. Yeah.
You have to go through the process again.
In Scampa Bay, there's a million. There's been a million.
I never heard that one. I heard
Scampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million fake pages. There's one that's like Meredith on air, and I'm contacting people to get their socials, social security numbers, so I can give them money. And I'm like, I'm not asking for anything like that, and I would never do that. So I'm constantly trying to put that out there.
My name is Meredith. I'm a Nigerian prince.
Princess.
And I want to give you $30 million in a briefcase at an airport.
Yeah, there's been fake pages left and right, and it's literally people trying to scam.
Yo, that's identity theft.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah. So I don't know.
You gotta call the cops or some shit on that.
I have contacted Instagram, Facebook. They say, no, that's you. I'm like, what? No, it's not. No, but it's not. Just because they took my picture and they put it up doesn't mean it's me.
And all it takes is a screenshot on your phone. I mean, it's really not.
And they won't do anything about it. And they're literally scamming people that live in the Bay Area. And there's nothing I can do about it.
I mean, let's get in on that scam. Let's screenshot. Let's start saying that.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
That is terrible. Karma will come back and find you. It looks like we got 3 minutes and 7 seconds.
Okay.
So Meredith, go ahead and tell the audience, your either words of inspiration, motivation to get to this point. I mean, you became a hell of a TV personality. Radio and TV personality
from Jacksonville,
and Billboard personality,
and Billboard
too, all around. So I mean,
from board hopping to on-air personality,
and doing the most popular shows in Tampa. I mean, MJ, and then Orlando and the Freak
Show, which is
Show.
arguably the most popular morning show in Tampa.
Yeah, I feel very blessed, but I wouldn't be where I am if I wasn't given certain opportunities. But I wouldn't have been given these opportunities if I didn't work really hard to get them. So sitting on your ass and just bitching about stuff isn't going to get you anywhere. If you really want to be successful in life, literally trying out everybody's job from the bottom to the top is where you will find your true passion and your true love. Like I know almost every aspect of radio because that's what I wanted to do, from board hopping to dressing up as a chicken on the side of the road.
Forgot about that.
Promotions, all that stuff. And I figured out quickly, I can run a board, I can do all this stuff, but it doesn't matter if it's that. It could be, any other company. It could be in pharmaceuticals. It could be sales. But if you really do have to try to experience things, and you can't just expect somebody to come after you and offer you a job. there's no reason you shouldn't be going out there and hitting people up left and right and being professional about it, like, and showing up every single day. Because there's so many people that say they're going to show up every single day that don't, or that are lazy. If you look to anybody you graduated with, you're literally going to be competing with those people for the rest of your life to be successful. And if you want to be successful, you got to be better than the people sitting next to you. So if you want that, then you have to go ahead and step up, put some fire under your ass, and go ahead and work hard, and you'll accomplish it.
Oh my God, that delivery was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
That's a reel. That's a reel.
Persistence.
And
hustle.
And
Yeah.
consistency.
And
Consistency is huge.
If you want it, you can go out there and get it, but you can't just sit back and dream about it. You can go out there and do it. And if you won't, somebody else is going to take that dream and make it a reality. So either you're going to do it or somebody else will, and why not you?
I love it. I mean, I almost want to kill the podcast right there. Just be like, drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, dude. Meredith, we really appreciate you having you
Thank
on there. It was
you.
so awesome having you on here. Holidaze, that was Meredith from 94.1 Orlando and the Freak Show.
Yes.
We had her here, and it was awesome. And, just so you know, you can't just build something. You have to actually apply yourself to be able to build it. So like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We're going to continue motoring on, continue forward until we have 100,000 followers. So thank you so much. Peace out.